All right, y'all. So we back again with another Gills Arena reaction, and this time it looks like they're going to be talking about how Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have been transforming the league. This is a conversation that I'm definitely interested in, and I kind of want to jump right into it. So just do me a quick favor, hit the like button, hit the sub button. We're on the road to 10K. Let's jump into the reaction.
WNBA released the All-Star rosters on Tuesday. Both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese made the 12-women roster that will be taking on Team USA in Phoenix later this month. So the impact of both rookies cannot be overstated. And a look at the top All-Star voting totals from last season to this season shows just that. So Asia Wilson was the top vote getter in 2023 with nearly 100,000 votes.
Man.
This season, Clark and her favorite teammate, Aaliyah Boston, finished first and second with 700,000 and 618,000 respectively in fan voting, followed by Wilson, who had 607,000 votes, Stewart with 424,000, and Angel Reese came through with 381,000. Wow. So games featuring Clark have set viewership records on 6 different networks. And Tuesday night's Fever Aces game in Vegas had the highest regular season single game attendance in the W since 1999, with 2,366, or 20,000, excuse me, 366 people.
What arena is that?
That's T-Mobile. They moved it from their normal arena to T-Mobile.
That is crazy.
And you look at those All-Star votes, that's like a 4-time increase.
Yeah.
Like times 4
in 1 year.
Mr. McCants, that was like 8 and 9 times difference, man. That was way higher than 4 times, bro.
Under 100,000 to 700,000 votes. That's incredible.
That's great to see. So the league was growing before Clark and Reese came through, but what has the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese effect meant for the W this season?
Yeah, it's been everything. I mean, you see, like, other players are benefiting from it. It's not just them. It's not just this rookie class, but my favorite part about all of this has been seeing the rookies on the floor. And, like, everyone has always wondered, like, why doesn't the college fandom follow the follow them when they get to the pros? Because for so many years, rookies were just buried on the bench. Their confidence crushed, like, snuffed out. And then the next season, they're like, oh, well, you're not good enough, so we're going to just cut you. Or we're going to put you on another team because we don't think you belong here. We don't think you're good enough. So I've just been really excited for the young players getting an opportunity early to learn faster and get comfortable faster and, like, kind of cement themselves in these organizations earlier than, like, I'd barely played my rookie season. I wish I had the opportunity to get on the court my rookie year, but.
So do you think?
So there's a couple of things that just happened here, right? So we've reacted to a couple of videos with Lexi in it, and I think in the very first reaction we did, she mentioned that there was a huge problem with the college fan bases not translating over into the W because the rookies don't get a chance to play. So she did admit to that, and so she's saying, look, I'm happy that the rookies are getting a chance to play. However, in another video that we reacted to, she didn't seem to be really interested in the rookies joining this year. I mean, specifically Caitlin Clark, because she couldn't see what the hype was around Caitlin. She wasn't interested. I don't think that she thought that there would be any real benefit, but I'm glad to see that, now that she's been playing and probably watching some of the games on her own and stuff like that, that she can see the impact that both Angel and Caitlin have had on the league. I mean, remember, the votes were up by 7 and 8 times, not 4 McCants, 7 and 8 times. And so that's viewership. That's jersey sales. Those are ticket sales. Those are concessions. That's everything that's going to go into the revenue. And when your league subtracts those expenses, I hope that there's going to be a profit generated, a major one. And when it comes time for those contract negotiations, because that's probably where her head is now. Like, hey, like she just said, other players have benefited. Other players will benefit. That was the entire point of these conversations. So when it comes time to negotiate these contracts, when the league has more profit to give and the teams actually start generating some income on their own, you guys will make more money. Because that's what this is all about at the end of the day. It's more money.
I think that just a business sense that some of these teams are starting to realize that the girls that's coming into the NBA or WNBA, they have the following, and it might be in their best interest.
Yeah, to put them on the
floor. To put them on the floor. So.
And yeah, I mean, you clearly see the contrast. The top teams have no rookies playing. The bottom teams have rookies playing. But at the end of the day, only one team is going to win a championship, and this is a business. So I feel like teams are making
I'm glad to hear you say
business
that
decisions,
this is a
but
business.
also you're helping these rookies grow, mature, and learn faster, which will then extend their career, I think. Because it's so many times I know so many players that are in the league like 1, 2, 3 years, barely play, and then they get cut. And you're like, well, I didn't even get an opportunity to even show anything.
Oh,
I'm excited
sucks,
for
man. Nasty
I think
work.
that everything that's happening right now in the WNBA can be contributed to the conversations that we've had on this couch. And I don't want to say that they ain't listening to everybody else on the outside, but I think that our points that we've made strategically on the marketing side, on women being more women, in the element of the NBA, like the way they've been dressing, coming out, being more feminine, where guys are looking like, yo, who is that? Like they're double backing, playing the rookies more, the visibility being on ESPN more, NBA TV more. Now we know where we can go and watch a game, YouTube TV. These are all avenues where the WNBA has grown within the last 6 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Look, I wouldn't go as far as saying that Gil's Arena was the reason why any of this is happening. I think that they play a major role because they are a media outlet and they do report on the WNBA. I mean, again, all of my WNBA content is directly because of Gil's Arena. You know, it's my favorite sports show, so I want to watch their content and react to it. However, what I want to say is that this has been a collective effort. You know, these girls have had large followings since before they joined the W. These conversations were inevitable. And it's a collective effort between everyone online and in real life having these conversations and generating these conversations that are surrounded around one unique idea. And that's growing the business of the WNBA, because we love the sport of basketball and we want to see that sport succeed, especially for the women. And we want them to have a unique product that's entertaining to watch. A huge part of the reason why no one watched it before is because the games weren't entertaining. And as Lexi pointed out, the heat that these college players pick up, the popularity that they pick up in college doesn't translate well because fans can't see their favorite players on the floor. So this year is about lessons. This year is about capitalizing on your biggest opportunities. And it takes outlets like Gil and others, again, it's been a collective effort to have these conversations and keep generating them. So I just wouldn't say it was solely based on what they talk about here on Gil's Arena. I mean, I've made a couple of videos on this, so therefore it's because of me. It's because of anyone else talking about it. It's because of Gil, you know, it's whatever.
So now we're looking at an aspect where the more we keep talking about little tidbits of corrections that they can implement, maybe they hear them, maybe they don't, but we can see that changes have been made in a short amount of time, where rookies are playing now, where we're hyping up Angel Reese to the point where she can be ahead of her time early on.
Balling.
I mean, she's going to go down as one of the best rebounders in the league.
Look at that.
Like,
and if we're not watching, we wouldn't even know it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now we get to see it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you too about Angel. I see a lot of people, the criticism of Angel is she's rebounding a lot of her own shots. That's a
skill.
That's the not. But somebody posted a video. It was like 2 or 3 times, but there's like 6, 7 people around her all trying to grab the rebound, and I'm looking like,
right.
Do you think she's deliberately just throwing it back off to herself?
Yeah,
No, she.
Well,
Now, here's the thing. I'm not actually a fan of that particular criticism about Angel Reese, because when Caitlin had her game when she had 10 turnovers, a lot of people wanted to chime in and comment and say that it wasn't her fault. It was because her team couldn't catch the passes. And that was a fact. But at the end of the day, if Caitlin never threw that ball, that turnover would have never occurred. Therefore, it ends up on her stat sheet. So if Angel is shooting the ball and she's missing, You know, a lot of people do comment on her shot percentage. If she's missing, but she's also grabbing her own rebound and putting it back up, that's still going on her stat sheet. I don't care whether she's grabbing her own rebounds, the same way I didn't care whether or not Caitlin's teammates were catching the passes and turning them into points. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how it's happening. It's the fact that it is happening.
That's what
She's fighting.
Bill Russell was doing back in the 60s.
Well, that's
Remember I said
that was the one part of her game that was going to translate immediately was her motor.
Gil Russell.
Gil Russell's crazy.
But we already knew offensively, like when people were saying she should go back to school, it was basically to work on your offensive game a little bit more.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But that no one said anything about her defense and her rebound, and they already knew she was that's what she does.
Yes.
Right? So from here, it's just, she's going to get, her rebounding is going to be elite.
Forever.
Year after year, summer after summer, she's just going to have to work on her offensive side so her offensive side can catch up.
Yeah.
Right now, she's just still raw.
Yeah.
She's just raw from the offensive side.
I mean, and once her offensive game catches up to that, her rebounds might go down a little bit
Yeah.
because she will probably start making those shots. But, I mean, she's high level at that.
She's
That's
relentless.
exactly what that team needs from her.
Exactly.
She went to the perfect team.
And obviously, supposed to get drafted higher, ended up dropping to 7. Kind of a blessing in disguise to be able to play with that squad, come to a team that's obviously a little bit better than the bottom of the league. But now All-Star along with Clark, and both of them are currently the front runners for Rookie of the Year. Clark, the fastest player in WNBA history with 300 points, 100 rebounds, 100 assists. Angel was named Rookie of the Month for June, amidst of a single season record. 11 straight double-doubles. She's just one shy of tying Candace Parker's record of 12, which was done over multiple seasons. So just looking at it right now, if you had to put your pick in, who will win WNBA Rookie of the Year this season?
Man.
And this is right.
Before they chime in, I want to chime in first and answer that question. So I think for me, I mean, both of these ladies are making a tremendous impact and they are breaking records all over. And they are doing things for the WNBA that have never been done before. Now, with that being said, to me, I'm giving it to the player that has the biggest impact on their team. And how do I determine that? I determine that by which team goes the furthest in their season. So if Caitlin takes her team to the playoffs where Angel doesn't, give Rookie of the Year to Caitlin because her play led her team to the playoffs. Makes sense? And the opposite would be true for, and the same would be true for Angel. If her team goes to the playoffs and Caitlin's doesn't, then go ahead and give it to Angel. And if both teams make it to the playoffs, give it to the player whose team had the better record. So if one team goes further than the other, give it to that player. Because they've both been playing exceptionally well, and they both have been making a major impact on their team, and they both have sparked and generated conversations that have, quadrupled and quintupled the amount of popularity that the WNBA has had this year. So, and if you want to go ahead and include other elements, like we can, right? So some people may talk about the differences in their position, right? So you have Angel who's working in the paint. That's a more physical position. So some people may say that her job as an offensive player and a defensive player is more physically demanding. And because she has a more physically demanding job and she's generating those double-doubles, she therefore deserves, the Rookie of the Year. But then others may say, okay, well, Caitlin, she's been dealing with the league basically gunning for her. Every single team has been gunning for her, and they have been making it far more difficult for her to get adjusted and for her to actually play and be successful in this league than any other player. And I mean, she's beating those odds. Clearly, she's beating those odds. But, do you want to, measure it that way by who's had the rougher go of it? You can add whatever it is you want, but my criteria is going to be based on which team makes it the furthest. That's who I'm giving the MVP to.
Right now, it could change. Of course, the season's going to go on.
I don't even know. It really just depends on, what you value. So for me, I'm valuing the IQ, passing, shot-making ability of Caitlin Clark.
I'm going to say, it would be
But,
Caitlin.
and they've managed to turn their season around a little bit. But then you go on the flip side, and Angel, winning Rookie of the Month, breaking WNBA records, doing things like that.
Yep.
Rebounding.
It's impossible
So,
to ignore.
it's like what you value more. And for me, from just the way I like to play basketball, my vote would be for Caitlin, but it's close. I wouldn't be mad at either one of them, but the fact that there's a race is amazing.
Yeah.
Usually it's one rookie that gets minutes and everyone else is on the bench.
Yeah.
And one rookie will just run away with it just based on the fact that they're on the court more than
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah.
So this is great for the W race.
Shad, if you had to put your pick in right now.
Definitely Caitlin. And there's no shade to Angel. It's just what Caitlin has to face on a nightly basis of them trying to stop
Number
her.
one
That's exactly what I was
Like
talking
they
about.
like
yeah.
she can't get equal.
So yeah, he's adding this other criteria to it, which I think is fair. I mean, if you want to look at both players holistically, including their experience on the court, I guess it's fair game because they don't play the same position. So it's really hard to measure them 1-to-1. So, I mean, I guess maybe in the comments we can agree on a criteria that works best to combine both, positions. But if you want to add those things, go ahead.
Opportunity as everyone else, because then I think she would average 25, 26 a game, because you're not trying to gear the scouting report to stop her. Like Angel Reese, I feel like they're not giving her as much of a strenuous assignment when it comes to scouting report, because she's going to do what she does. She rebounds. It's hard to stop somebody who rebounds. Then you got
Cardoso.
Cardoso on the same team. So it's you pick your poison.
He's getting a lot of those rebounds too, because sometimes they're sending doubles. But again, that's still all very hard to do. It's energy,
Yes.
it's effort.
Yes.
Obviously, not everybody is doing it or is capable of doing it. But yeah, like you said,
But
top scouting report.
Caitlin's passing, like you said, the passing, her IQ level, she's spoon feeding. Imagine if they would actually finish
She's
quarters of.
probably finish the season. I predict she'll finish the season with 2 or 3 triple doubles.
Yeah, for sure. And I just got to go with Caitlin
that's a fair
on
assessment.
that standalone. It had nothing to do with influence or nothing. That just straight baller mindset. When you got somebody at the free throw line shoots 1 free throw, they got 2. You shoot 1 and you try to find me.
Yeah.
Before you shot
your
second,
Right.
man.
That's different.
So my teammate
That's
did.
different. I'm overseas
all
and
that smoke. She shot
I
her
did
free throw
that.
instead.
And I've seen it. I've seen a nigga so amped up to guard me that they didn't even finish the
You
free
got
throw.
another free point?
You got a hole, bro. What are you doing? He's standing in front of me. Yeah. Bro, you got another free throw. Relax. I like that with Caitlin.
The hell you about to say, dog?
They both have their flaws and strengths. Caitlin's getting roughed up in her own way, as a guard play, but Angels is getting
Choke slam.
Yeah, she's getting bodied
That was
because she's bigger, we don't see it. But
thing
you gotta
that
remember, she's a
happened, too.
post player. So that means she's taking a lot of cheap shots herself.
Yeah.
Right? She has to be, she's learning how to become a real offensive player because now she has bigger girls, defenders that know how to play defense. So it's harder for her to score versus someone like Caitlin, because Caitlin can go get screens. She can, you go double and help, right? She gets free more. Angel won't get free, right? Because she's posting up and there's somebody behind her,
there.
right? So she's averaging a double-double. Caitlin's playing, they're both breaking records playing. If it stays the same way all the way through, I'm doing co-MVP, co-rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's,
Co-MVP, co-rookie of the year. I mean, let me think about that for a second. I mean, look, that goes against everything that's been happening to a certain degree, right? So people haven't necessarily enjoyed the jealousy and the envy in the league because they have felt as though that creates division. And what people do value is unity, right? So in theory, handing out a co-award to 2 amazing players that have impacted the W, I mean, that's the epitome of unity, right? But at the same time, people are invested in the narratives. They are invested in the things that keep us separated, right? Because we like to have fandoms. We like to have fan bases, right? And we like to have a this person versus this person, right? So if it's Angel Clark versus, oh man, I can't believe I fucking did that. If it's Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark, then if you give it to Caitlin Clark, then people on the Angel Reese camp are going to be like, oh, well, it was a popularity contest. Caitlin Clark ain't have all them double-doubles. And then if you give it to Angel, it's like, hey, are you really going to give it to Angel? Like, did she really have the impact that Caitlin had this year? Is this a race issue? Like, there's going to be so much of that going on. And so if you give them co-MVP and say, here, you two, you have to share it with all of your different struggles, with all of your similar struggles, you have to share it. I don't even think the fan bases would be happy about that. Because the Angel Reese camp is like, no, she's earned it 100%. Why the hell should she have to share it? And then the people are going to say the same thing about Caitlin. So I don't think that there's a best way to do it in terms of giving out an individual award or a co-award. But if, you know what? Yes, I do. I'm going to walk that back. The best way to do it, in my opinion, is the way that I said it before. Whichever team goes the furthest, you award that player with Rookie of the Year because they would have impacted their team enough to lead their team further down the line toward that championship. That's where I'm going to stand at.
It's going to be hard to say one wasn't the Rookie of the Year. They're both at this point
What if
doing a great job at.
Would you ever give Rookie of the Year to a defensive player?
If their
their
defensive
defense
impact was
generated a lot of
that
points.
impactful.
Over like
Yeah.
an offensive juggernaut?
It all depends.
What if one team makes the playoffs and one team doesn't? Would that, you think that would sway?
No, but what team was better before them two got there? Right?
Chicago.
Chicago was-
Yes, and they got two top.
I mean, I don't think it matters what team was better before they got there. I mean, they're both ranked right now 8 and 9. So the teams are pretty even.
But I
10
mean, they were
picks.
both.
Right, they got two top 10.
Sky currently the 8th seed, Fever the 9th seed in WNBA.
God.
Yeah, so but
Thank
that's
you.
what I said. Right now, they're both doing a job, and if you know these two in the media form is your bread and butter right now,
Just give it to both of them.
you give it to both.
I'm not mad at that.
It makes for a
Yeah,
better.
You build that rivalry, you build that.
It makes for a better story.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? There's only
Definitely
so
one
long.
person
There's
can
only
make
so
it.
long. There's only.
See, look, I'm not a fan of stories overstaying their welcome. However, I'm also not a fan of stories ending too soon before we can get a proper conclusion. And unifying both camps under the guise of co-MVP, I don't think that's the best way to do it. That's not the chapter you want to close out because here's the thing. If Caitlyn gets it, for example, then what's going to happen next year? You know, that's motivation for Angel to get triple doubles now. Let's go break some records with triple doubles. And if Angel gets it, that's more ammo for Caitlyn to have a higher 3-point shot percentage. You know, let's have way more assists. Let's average 15 assists a game. Like, it lights a fire under the opposite player to play harder. But if you have, and it also sets a precedent now, like if you have two players that are impacting the league in equal ways, only one of them should be able to win. We can't share everything because that, you know, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't that start to feel like it's just a participation trophy? Like, hey, we just don't want to hurt the other player's feelings. You know, there's got to be some way to decide who is the better player. And again, if we use my method, it's which player is leading their team to a better record and to it or to a champion, closest to the championship or to the championship.
There's only so long you can keep doing black versus
They
white.
keep doing, and I feel like
What?
they've both done such a good job at staying in their lane, being themselves, and just coming out and hooping, that this narrative of one versus the other is like, now y'all forcing it.
Yeah.
Like, y'all are forcing it. And both of them being successful, as we see, is great for the league. Like,
It's
one
too
does not have to
soon.
be better than the other.
It's too soon
Them
to
both
unify.
playing at a high level.
America was built on separation.
Yep.
So that's what we're going
Is
to
he?
Look, it's too soon to unify it because we need to understand this thing. We need to figure out how long it's going to last. And if you unify it, then that signals that it's the end of an era and the end of a chapter. And what happens if we don't bring back those same fans that are invested? We don't even know what percentage of fans are invested in this rivalry. So I think that it's an unnecessary risk to issue a co-MVP here. I do.
continue to keep trying, but we, as the new media, can
Yeah,
create
we
the
can
narrative
change
We do what we
of
want.
unifying
We
it,
do
right?
what we
It's,
want.
remember, it's easier. It's when you think about like a clique, right? If I say Angel's better, right? We get all her clicks and then all the Caitlyn
Yeah.
clicks, right?
Just like
that
we
don't think
suspected.
that's better. They get to click it.
yep.
Right? They get to click it and be mad. So I get double. If I go reverse, right? And say this person deserves, Clayton deserve it, all the Reese. So it's easier when you're talking about media to just keep putting them against each other because right now the numbers say do
Yep.
it. But business-wise, moving forward, it's better to say they both won. Now both sides are happy. Both sides are still going to complain that their person should have won.
Right.
Yeah. Right? So you still get the same
So
thing.
y'all can be mad, but
and you-
we're still elevating
Yeah,
these.
Well, people are going to be
don't-
mad no
and you
matter
don't-
what.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, should both players share MVP this year and why? I've already given you guys my take on it, and look, please let me know if you disagree with it and why as well. I mean, I'm really interested in hearing you guys' opinions on this. Again, I mean, if I had to choose an MVP, it's just going to go to the player that leads their team closest to the championship or to the championship because they both have been making such a tremendous impact. And it's the collective effort of both Caitlyn and Angel, the way they've been playing, the way they've been conducting themselves, whether we like it or not, that's just been driving these conversations forward. And I think how we decide which one of them will get MVP is very, very, very important. But all right, y'all, that's pretty much all I got. Like the video if you like the video. Please hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to 10K. And I will see you guys next week in the next video. Peace.